And for the first episode of my main man, Michael Smith, I am so pleased to be joined by the presumptive first overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, my main man, Bryce Young, who is here on behalf of Snickers Ice Cream. And together they're helping fans chill out with the Snickers Bryce Cream Bar. So, Bryce, here's what I had in mind, man. Thank you for being here. Let's switch it up a little bit. And let's have you do the drafting. I'm going to get some number one overall picks from you, all right? Starting with your number one way to chill out.
Yeah, number one way to chill out is definitely with these new Snickers Bryce Cream bars. This is something that I'm partnering with alongside with Snickers Ice Cream. We're gonna offer, like you said, a way for fans to chill out, and that's for we're introducing these Snickers Bryce Cream bars, and fans can visit snickers.com/Bryce Cream bar to enter the win. To get a chance to try the treat out, but I'm super excited. It's definitely something that that is honor for sure, and I'm grateful to be working with the great people at Snickers that made this possible.
Sounds cool, sounds delicious. But besides enjoying ice cream, Snickers ice cream, what is Bryce Young's number one way to relax?
For me, really just chilling at home, watching YouTube,
All
watching
right.
Netflix, something like that.
All right. What is your number one hobby or interest outside of football?
Definitely basketball. Definitely basketball. Watching basketball. Playing basketball when I can, all that stuff. But I definitely love basketball.
Yeah, that was your first love growing up. You played it a lot, obviously, before focusing on football. I know you and your family got to meet Steph Curry after you won the Heisman. You happen to be born in the same hospital that Kobe Bryant was born in. So here's your number one overall question. Your number one overall draft pick, NBA players, all time and active.
And do they have to be like they of number one overall picks?
No, no, oh, no. They don't have to be specifically the number one. Just your draft. You pick one player all time, whoever you want.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, my favorite player all time is definitely Steph. So,
Okay.
I definitely go with Steph Curry. Yeah, favorite athlete ever.
Okay, cool. We talked a lot about ice cream. What is the number one overall food you would pick to eat for the rest of your life?
Sushi, definitely sushi. Yeah, I could eat sushi probably for every meal for the rest of my life.
Wow. All right. Your parents, they're going to move wherever you end up, and they moved near Tuscaloosa while you were in school, and they used to make you Sunday dinners. So, what is the number one dish that your mom or dad makes?
I go with salmon. It's like it's become kind of a collaborative effort now. I would help with the sauce, and then my parents would help with the cooking, and then we figure out the size. But I'd probably go with salmon.
What kind of salmon? Like a miso salmon?
It's like a sweet it's like a salmon with like a little glaze on top with like
Like a
a
glaze?
100 gram sugar.
Bet.
Yes. Yeah,
Bet. Speaking of your parents, what's the number one lesson that your father, Craig, who's a therapist, and your mother, Julie, who's a teacher, what's the number one lesson that they each taught you?
yeah, I think for as far as my mom, it's definitely empathy. Just being empathetic towards others. I really witnessed it firsthand with watching how she was with her students, and just regardless of where you're at or where other people are at, that's all irrelevant and all circumstantial. It's just we're all human. We all deserve respect and empathy. And, just to go into all base situations, with our empathetic mindset. My dad, I feel like, he's really helped instill in something that I carry into really almost all aspects of my life of controlling what you can control, letting go and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, you can't control everything and that, a lot is in God's hands and a lot is off of your hands. And, instead of that, to put your energy into what you can control and, to control yourself and when you're stressing out stuff you can't control, that's wasting energy. So just to put all that I focus on that.
That's good stuff. You were a psych major at Bama. What's the number one thing you learned, or your favorite thing that you learned about the human mind in your studies?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I'd say probably one of my it came from one of my favorite classes I took there, which was a social psych class. That was I think I took that my sophomore year. That was a
Mm-hmm.
really good, that was a really good class, and kind of one of the things, kind of a I don't want to get too long-winded about it, but
No, that's okay.
to
Take your
sum it
time.
all up, to sum it all up, it's kind of the approach that your mind takes when you meet someone new, and kind of the different approaches that you kind of can have about how you when you're choosing to open up to someone when you're not. And honestly, it doesn't have as much carryover. It can carry to football a little bit, but it's less about on the field stuff. But I just found it interesting. It was, yeah. If I were to explain the whole thing, it's a little a little long winded. But it's kind of like the point of when you start to become more vulnerable with other people. And
Okay.
it was like a deeper conversation that we had in the social psych class that I took, but it was something that I thought was really interesting.
Okay. We'll save that conversation for another day. We got a little bit
Yeah,
more
for
time.
sure, for sure.
What is the number one mental health tool that you use or habit that you practice?
For me, kind of a tool that I have that has worked for me a lot is just been controlling my breathing. That's something that I feel like, although it's physical, it helps me mentally dial back in onto, and to get my focus more streamlined. It's a physical tool, but it's something that helps me mentally and kind of a cue that I have to get myself in. My dad's helping me with that, and I've been doing that for a while. So I kind of can do that a little bit more subconsciously now. But
Mm,
that's something that I definitely do pretty actively.
okay. You're an only child. Your number one overall pick to have as a sibling.
That's a good question. Number one, oh wow, that's a good one. To have as a sibling, um,
Anybody.
anybody. I feel like Drake's a great sibling to have. Like I feel like that's like a cool like I feel like that opens a lot of I feel like that
Drake?
opens a lot of doors. Like
Okay.
yeah, I feel like that opens a lot of doors. Like that's a fun like
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a cool person to be
Yeah.
around and just like be able to catch up with every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it to you like this, Bryce. If you're having trouble right now, I don't think you'll have a difficult time getting in the parties pretty soon. I think you'll be good. You should be able to get wherever you want right now, but you're on the VIP list moving forward very soon. Um, Speaking of good friends, though, the number one thing you appreciate most about your good friend CJ Stroud.
Yeah, honestly, I think just how genuine and real a person he is outside of football. Again, we've worked out a bunch. We've been to a bunch of the same camps growing up. We work out together now. I've seen him a lot as a football player, and I have all the respect in the world for him as a player, and all the stuff that he does on the field. That everyone sees. But really just the stuff. We've had a lot of moments of conversations that have nothing to do with football. And, just
Mm.
knowing about him and his story and what he stands for and how he carries himself that, and again, off the field, that doesn't have anything to do with football. Just how genuinely good of a person he is. I feel like that's what I'm most grateful to be around.
That's awesome. I love that relationship. All right. I asked you about your number one overall pick for basketball. Tell me your number one QB of all time.
Ooh, these are some rough ones. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep it current. I think this is a little bit more in the future. I think I think that especially where it's at, and there's a lot more to go. I'll go with Patrick Mahomes. I think he's getting there. I think it's just when it's all said and done. I think you know what he's been able to do at the age that he's at. With the experience he has is it's already in that, and you can already make the case now. And obviously, he has a lot more,
Yeah,
a lot more to go in front of him. So I'll go with Patrick Mahomes.
it's a good choice. I like it. That's forward thinking and it's based on what he's already done. I like that. Your number one pick, any receiver all time to throw to.
Any receiver all time. Uh, I feel like you got to go with Randy Moss. Like I feel like I feel like prime Randy Moss. Like there's
Just
nothing
throw
you
that
couldn't
hand
do.
up.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
right
Like
off the
what
line.
exactly. Just complete receiver. Nothing you can't do. I mean, I feel like that's what I'll go with.
What about active? What about active receiver? Number one active receiver to throw to.
Ooh. Number one active receiver. That's a good one. Uh Man, that's tough. Number one active receiver. I might have to go. Honestly, I might have to go Jamar Chase. I
Jamar
have to go
Chase. All
Jamar
right.
Chase, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, point guard, that was an alley oop. You could have said Adam Thielen. You could have said Terrace Marshall.
I don't know where things. Hey man, I don't
I
know
know.
anything.
I'm messing with
I
you.
don't know anything, man.
I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you. You're good. You're good. Hey, you're a very decorated player, obviously. We got a few more. Your number one accomplishment on the field?
Number one accomplishment on the field. I feel like for me, I feel like it's probably probably SEC championship. That's something that we pride ourselves in, and was a goal for us as a team, was to win championships. And that was something that means a lot to the program, and means a lot to me and us and everyone in Alabama. So I go with that.
Okay, I want to get a few fun ones with you before we run out of time. Your number one pair of sneakers and your number one article of clothing. I know that's something you and your parents bond about. So sneakers and clothing.
Yeah, number one pair of sneakers. I go with some off-white fours. Off-white fours.
Off-white fours.
That's probably that's probably favorite pair I have now. And then favorite pair of clothing.
Any article of clothing. Jacket, T-shirt, jeans, whatever. Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'm pretty simple. I like more like utility. So stuff that I could wear, I could wear all the time. So there's like a Jordan tracksuit that that I wear a lot, that's super comfortable. And I got a bunch of different colors in them, so I can wear them with anything. So go with that.
Makes sense. I like where your head's at. Your number one pick of a TV series to binge?
Rick and Morty, for sure. That's my favorite. Yeah, I go Rick and Morty.
Movie to watch or rewatch? Number one all-time movie to watch or rewatch?
Paid in Full, definitely.
I knew I loved you. Oh, we can spend all day just on that. I should have led with that. I
love the game.
What's your favorite?
I love the hustle.
I love the hustle. I love the hustle, man. Everybody eats. That's how you play.
Everybody
play like
eats,
everybody eats.
Everybody eats.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. You are my number one quarterback. Favorite YouTube channel?
That's a good one. Favorite YouTube channel? What's it called? I can't pronounce it, but it's like Kyrgyzstan or whatever. But it's like a science, like YouTube. They just do like a bunch of, it's like animated, but they do a bunch of like YouTube videos of like, it's like explaining, like, it's like science videos. Like they do a bunch of like explaining like Earth and like science stuff, but like it's like animated, so it's like interactive. I don't know. I watch all their videos.
All right, I'm gonna sneak in a couple more before we let you go. One musical artist or group and their catalog. You could have one.
Plus the catalog. I can only choose one. I can't choose one. It's either Drake or J. Cole. I'm sorry, I cheated the question.
Okay.
But,
that's okay.
But those
that's
are
right.
It has either Drake or J. Cole.
Drake or J. Cole. I like your taste. All right. And lastly, get you out of here with this. The number one thing that you've enjoyed most about this entire draft process.
Number one thing I think is I think it's been able to be on this journey with everyone else that's in my class. Being able to work out with other people in the class, out here where I've been training, and being able to be around people at Combine, and same thing, see everyone again in Pro Day. It's a very unique process, but having a bunch of other people that are going with you and going through the same thing, I think that kind of brings us together and makes us closer. So I think that's been my favorite part.
Hey man, I hope you've enjoyed this. You nailed this like you did the S2. Like, you crushed it. This was great. I enjoyed it. Next time we talk, we're talking about that psych lesson, and we're talking about Paid in Full. All right? I appreciate you, Bryce. Thank you so much for the time, man. Congratulations and much success going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, thanks so much for kicking it with your main man, Michael Smith. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, but also subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Rate it, review it. Tell your friends about it. Oh, and be sure to follow me on social media?